Okay, I'm going to do a real quick video. We've got some people coming over. It's not really a housewarming party, but having some people come over for lunch. Doing some, it's not really American food, I guess, because wiener Schnitzel I don't think is strictly American. But it's breaded pork, so it's almost American. I'll take the pork, cut it pretty small, because we're going to pound it out with the meat mallet, and it's going to get much bigger. A piece this size becomes at least this big once it's pounded out. I lay 3 or 4 pieces down on the cutting board, cover it with plastic so nothing splatters. Okay, that makes it a lot thinner, and it tenderizes it. So once this is cooked, you can usually cut it with a fork. Don't even need a knife. You see they come out now, it's a decent size, it's very thin. Doesn't take long, you just hit it a few times. I buy what they call the pork Tapa. It's like just a chunk. It comes into a big just chunk of meat. I don't know what cut of the animal it is, and they slice it real thin, so you just get this long, they do a zigzag cut so that one piece turns into one real long piece. And it's good enough just to cook it like as a steak. I'll make them larger than that for that. And you just cover it back up, pound some more. Okay. We have all the meat pounded out thin. Now we're going to start on the breading. The breading is very simple. I never know how much to use, so I always like to mix it as I go. I'll do 2 or 3 batches. I'm making 12 right now, so I'm going to end up using this whole bag, and I know it. But I'm not going to mix it all at once, just because. Breadcrumbs, Italian seasoning. They put the shaker top on it, but it doesn't come out because some of the thyme in it I think is too large. So kind of there's no measurements. I put some Italian seasoning mixed with breadcrumbs until you get a color that you like. Let's try and shake it out. Yeah, it doesn't really come out. Okay. Mix that in. That looks about right. The kitchen is quite small. As you can see, this is the entire kitchen. So, dip it in. It's this nice mix of breadcrumbs with Italian seasoning. Eggs get mixed with Worcestershire sauce. And we'll go ahead and do all 3 of them because I know I'm going to use them. And they fit in the bowl. Breadcrumbs get kind of full. Wow, these eggs are super thin shelled. We buy them at the wet market, so it's a bit different every time we get them. You got your egg with Worcestershire sauce. All of this is easily available here in the Philippines. My wife doesn't like most of my cooking because I cook differently than they do. Their spaghetti is sweet, mine is not. She'll taste my style. I make a chili. I make a pretty good chili, I think. She'll taste it. She goes, oh yes, that's nice. I like that. And then she won't eat it. I made this one time. She tasted it. She took the plate. She walked off with it eating it. Says, okay, make some for you now. So she actually liked it. Okay. Now for the fun part. Can you see the cutting board? Not really. Excuse me. We'll try this. Probably edit some of the movements out. Okay. Take the meat that's been previously pounded out. You may notice if you do this, at least I know I do, when I first start, I do a much better job. As I go, I get tired of it, so the first ones are pounded out much better than the later ones. Doesn't surprise me, I do it all the time. So, now, this part's always fun because it's messy. I love messy. Pepper. Parmesan cheese. Yeah, kind of have to let it sit for a second. The juice in the meat will start wetting the cheese a little bit. I sort of made this recipe up. I did a bunch of looking online. Found some different recipes. Having never made a schnitzel before, I read the different recipes, thought about them, took a couple of them, changed them up, mixed it around, and made my own recipe. It works rather well. I don't know if it's a traditional enough recipe for anyone that wants to say, hey, that's not really schnitzel. I don't care because I like it. So you press in your cheese. And you can't just dunk this in the egg because the Parmesan cheese will fall off. So you kind of lay it in, press it down, put the egg on it. And once the egg is on there, it will hold the cheese on well enough. You can put it in the breadcrumbs and turn it over. Okay, the cooking setup here, most places in the Philippines anyway, you will have gas can and your hob. 1 or 2 burners. You can get larger ones, they have 4 burner ones with ovens and all that. We've talked about getting one, but we're not sure. They also have electrics if you want, but electric's expensive. Now for the healthy part. Cook these in butter, not oil. On a very low heat. See, it's got the breadcrumbs and the eggs. It's all quite yummy. Because they're very thin, they do cook quickly. So they don't cook very long. And you want it on a low heat so you don't brown it up too much. Probably shouldn't crowd the pan too much, but I'm cooking 12 of them, so I'm going to crowd the pan to try and speed this up. Might be a mistake. The angle is really bad on this, but my tripod is short. What is that?
Table? The table?
Oh, yeah, I will in a minute. I can't really, it's not solid enough on the table to pound the meat, so I had to use the counter. So we'll go a little higher, you can see it. It's just on a very low heat. Cook it in the butter, a few minutes each side. We'll come back in a minute. Okay, that's been a few minutes, I'm not sure how long. Oh yeah, just lightly brown. These went in. They don't cook super evenly because these burners here are not very cheap. We do what we can, but if you don't have Chantal cookware, I recommend you get some. They used to sell this at Williams-Sonoma. They've stopped selling it. That is their mistake. That one's not quite done enough. You don't want to turn it too many times because it will start falling apart. The breading is very light on this. Okay. While that cooks, we're going to start on succotash. We don't have a lot of fresh options here for certain vegetables, so I take 1 can corn, 1 can of lima beans, drain them, dump them in the pan. We're cooking, you'll notice here, butter is the main ingredient and everything. We are cooking for flavor and fun today, not health. Put in some pepper. You know, measure it so you know how much you put in, right? Yeah, don't bother me. Hey, look, white pepper. You ever put white pepper in there? Nope. Let's try it. Okay. What the hell? I don't have jalapenos, which is a good option for these. But we do have, sometimes I use pimentos. That's available here, but I don't have any. But I have some bell pepper. We buy them when we get a good price because they're crazy expensive. Chop them up, put them in the freezer. Now I have peppers anytime I want. Don't put in a lot. Doesn't really add a lot of flavor. Just kind of adds a splash of color. Okay. Not a lot. This is all that's left. Stir that in. We will add some salt in a minute. Milk is available here, but hardly. It's a boxed milk, that UHT, the ultra high treatment milk. It's kind of funny tasting to me. I don't know. I don't have anything against UHT milk. I have heard people say it's bad. I'm not getting into any of that. But what I use is evaporated milk. Get a can of it, pour some out. Basically like cream out of the can. If you do 50-50 evaporated milk and water, it's pretty much just milk. So I put that in. I'm using it straight in this. I'm not adding the water, so it's going to be more like cream instead of milk. And we're going to let that simmer until most of the liquid is absorbed. Actually, it's more boiled out than absorbed, but whatever. Okay, I just put in a little salt. Sorry you missed it. A little cayenne pepper. A little paprika. Just stir it in. Let it simmer. Not going to be real spicy, just kind of got a little creamy sauce going. The bell peppers add some color, a little bit of flavor. Salt and pepper are just standard, of course. And then the peppers, the paprika and cayenne pepper, just add a little bit of zing. A lot of options you can do. I have some apple cider vinegar. Sometimes that's good to put a little in. I usually add a touch of sugar or honey. Can't find the sugar right now. We'll have to do that in a minute. Let's see how these look. That's our second batch. You want to try and turn them only once if you can, because like I said, it's kind of a delicate batter, being just the breadcrumbs The first ones are done. They're going to be wrapped in foil and put into our toaster oven while we wait, because it's not quite time to eat. I'm wrapping them now. They're going to be layered, unfortunately, which does damage them a little. But when you're cooking for a large group, sometimes it happens. So that's the succotash. That's the schnitzel. We'll be back with the white sauce in a minute. Cook the butter, just get it melted. It's not really going to froth up much in a double boiler. In a pan it will froth up a little bit, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not going to happen here. You want it properly melted. Like I said, it's about 2 tablespoons. And this is not a tablespoon, although I use it at the table. So we're going to call it a tablespoon, because I don't care. It's close enough. I'm cooking. This is not science. 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of butter. It's a basic roux. It's a French word. I'm probably not saying it right because I'm from Texas. I don't care. You just whisk that up. You want to get the lumps out of it. And you don't want it to taste real starchy, so you have to let it cook for a few minutes. It doesn't take a long time, but it starts to turn a little red, which I think is what roux means. I think that's French for red. Actually, I'm not sure about that. I've heard that it's true, and I've never bothered to look it up. In a double boiler, you don't have to stir it constantly. In a pan, you're going to want to stir it like non-stop. Basic white sauce. This is something everyone should have in their cooking repertoire. It's just the butter and flour, 2 tablespoons of each, 1 cup of milk, about a teaspoon and a half. I use white pepper. It doesn't have to be white pepper, but since it's a white sauce, you use the white pepper and it doesn't show up. It stays white. Use black pepper. It starts to look like gravy. It's really not gravy, because I think gravy has to have meat juices. I could be wrong. But you just whisk that up a little bit. I already pulled the bowl up and stirred the succotash. It's not burning, in case you were concerned. This is much faster in a pan, but it's also easier to burn, so I don't mind using a double boiler. Usually I don't use a double boiler. I did mention that we don't have milk exactly here. They have the high temp UHT. It's a boxed milk. Doesn't need refrigeration until after you open it. I'm not against it in principle. I just don't like the flavor as much. So like I said, this evaporated milk is awesome. Every store sells it. You use it straight. It's like almost like cream. They say it whips like cream, but I have not found that to be true. I have tried. You can buy cream here, so there's no sense in doing that. But it works very well as a milk substitute, straight out of the can. If they say it's 50-50 mix of evaporated milk and water, you have milk. So I use it usually straight out of the can. Okay, I got tired of that double boiler. It was just taking too long. Let myself get lazy. Now it's cooking. See, it's getting all frothy, which is what I'm used to. Now, you don't want to burn it. But once it starts doing that, this is just butter and flour. But you got to cook it for a few minutes to get the floury taste out of it. If your schnitzel starts to dry, add a little butter. I did not, so as you can see, it browned a little too much. But that's okay. Okay. Let's see how this looks. Can you see in there a little bit? It's not. It's kind of not really brown or red. If you've lost that straight up butter color. So now we add in about a cup of milk, which means, about that much. And this is just a little sauce to go on the schnitzel. Just a nice white sauce. When I first started making it, I tried too much flour and butter, and you start adding the milk and it just turns really thick like gravy. You really want it just as a thin sauce. So now I add in, teaspoon, whatever, of white pepper. Kind of gray, but they call it white, so we let them. Mix it in. There you go. It's a simple white sauce. This is one of the mother sauces. You have to learn how to make it. You add some cheese. You have, I believe they call that the Mornay sauce. I forget all the different names. But this is your base. You start with this. You make every other sauce in the world. And we'll take a look at these. This one right here is the last one I made. So I did pretty much run out of breadcrumbs. So that one's mine. I'll eat that for breakfast. I haven't had breakfast yet. And anyway, sauce is done. That's the last batch of that. Succotash is done. It'll go back on the stove before people come over. I have an oven full of schnitzel. I'm layering it in foil, and so there you go. Lunch is almost served. Okay, kind of showed, but everything's ready. A beautiful white sauce. The succotash. All the schnitzel staying in there on a very low heat to stay warm, and the only thing dirty is that pan, because I clean as I go. Well, excuse me, that plate's dirty because I ate one of the schnitzel, but I had to test it before people tried it, right? Everything's ready exactly the same time because I'm very picky. I used to be a cook, and everything should come out together. A proper kitchen will make sure that it does. And all of these 3 preps I made took very different amounts of time to make, and they were all ready at exactly the same time.